He had
There
some
are
nice
some
coverage on that.
weird speakers out there. Like I feel like
Oh
speakers are
yeah,
the things that get the weirdest.
yeah. They are. They're the thing that you get the most attention when you walk into a room,
Yeah.
and B, make the most difference on the sound. I mean,
Yes.
regardless what anyone says about amp stacks and everything else.
The DAC one is weird. I always have trouble doing it because I can't hear the difference. I try so hard,
Yeah.
and I just like, and I don't know what I I, I know people's hearing is most likely better than mine. In some
Eh,
people, but I can't hear it. I don't know what like
you know
even
what?
when there's filters on it, when there's like short and
Those
fat.
digital filters, they
Uh,
they barely make any noticeable difference. I mean, I've tried every which way from Sunday to tell, and it's like maybe kind of almost, but it's not. Sitting from a chair 10 feet away in your speakers, I mean, from listening from your speakers, there anyone that tells me they can hear a difference between decently designed DACs, I
People
think is like
do, and we know
no.
some of them.
I
Um,
know, I know. And this is me speaking. I haven't. I find it very difficult, and I've tried it a few different ways. I mean, there are some DACs that are designed, with the tube stages or with like that are heavily the analog output stage is heavily tweaked around to give it a sort of sound.
yeah,
Yeah, you can kind of tell that, but again, I can more easily tell that over headphones. Sitting 10 feet away from speakers, it's a lot harder. I mean, regardless what anyone tells you, it's a lot harder to tell.
yeah.
So, this is again speaking for me. That's what I've discovered. So, I mean, if people say they hear stuff and they are
It's
convinced, whatever.
yeah. I mean,
But
all the power to you. I mean, like, there's a reason it exists. I guess.
yeah, oh
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, and a lot of times these things are like, I'm glad someone makes these things just because it's it's fun, it's
Yeah,
variety, it's
yeah.
different, and there's something for everybody. But I do what I object to is people, so well, I don't know so much object to, but I just when people tell me this is the way this is and blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, well, okay, well, let me see, and all I could do is go by what I hear or what I don't hear,
Yeah.
and that's what I find. It's the same thing with cables. I mean,
I got my first good set of cables.
oh, you did?
Yeah. The folks that distribute Q Acoustics in Canada
Oh, that's right.
also
Was it
gave
the
me some
QED?
the QED cables.
Yeah, yeah. Those are nice cables. They're nice quality cables.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't hear the difference, but but they're nice. It's nice to just have a nice pair of cables, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Um,
Jim had some interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen the familiar with synergistic research. If you've ever, I mean, if you ever seen any of the show posts we've had, I mean, they typically have a room at the big shows, and they have like all this crazy high end gear, and they're
yeah,
nice sounding rooms. I mean, you have Magico speakers and all this gear, and it's
mhm,
it's it's a great sounding room. There's taking nothing away from it. They do a nice job setting it up,
yeah,
but they have all this power conditioning, all these cables, um, these weird antenna looking things, and then they have these little um, dot these things. I don't know what they are, but they're like, I don't know, different sort of. They're like the size of a dot, and they're stuck on. You stick in them. You could stick them on the outside of components and the sides
okay,
of speakers with like blue tack or whatever. And
yeah,
they claim that these things make a sonic difference to everything. And Jim had a post of it in his coverage, and he basically had some when we were chatting over text, he had some pretty you know blunt feelings about about what he thought about it. But it's like I've been to a few of these interesting demos, and they do the back and forth, and they say, "Oh, did you hear that, dude? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" And you see some people in the audience are like, "Oh yeah, yeah." I mean, uh, whatever. I've never heard a difference. I've never been able to tell a difference
I
ever.
told you that happened to me at the Dali thing, right?
No, 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 no.
So they were demoing like here's what happens where when you turn off the bass drivers, and then here's the
Hmm.
difference that you'll hear. So
Oh,
I heard
jeez.
that, but then
Hmm.
they covered up the because they have two high frequency drivers.
Hmm.
And so they have the tweeter, then they have the ribbon one. I think
Hmm.
it's a ribbon. So they covered it up, and everyone was just like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Oh shit." I think I'm hearing damage because I don't hear a thing.
I'm screwed. That's it.
I was like,
The mask has come off. I was
And
like, oh my god.
I was the youngest one there, and I was just like, oh, I I I I I guess my 20 years in clubs didn't pay off. But
You know what? You should actually, and I've had this done before. You should actually do this, not just even not to prove a point, but just
yeah,
to solidify this in your mind. Like get your hearing like measured and checked like properly.
yeah,
Um, because that will tell you a lot about what just basically what you're hearing and what you're not hearing. I mean,
uh,
I had mine checked last year, and yeah, I could hear up to about 13 and a half K
okay,
before stuff drops off, and which is actually I think I'm 55, yeah,
yeah.
55, yeah, and that's pretty good I think for my age and stuff. But after that, it's kind of like yeah, I can't really tell much of anything.
Do you have to go
Um,
to the doctor for that? Or you just do it with
you have
headphones
to go to an audiologist. I
okay,
mean, to get it done,
properly.
properly and completely, you have to go to an audiologist to do it. But even just like listening to some test tones over headphones, just to give you an idea, like just to see how high you can hear. That's just just to give you an impression. But
You know,
going to an audiologist will give you a better sense of like sometimes one ear can hear better than the other ear, and just kind of give
yeah,
you, yeah,
okay. I'll do the basic one first, and then I gotta
yeah.
find a doctor. I haven't had a doctor for like 10 years.
Oh man, but
Canada,
yeah,
health,
yeah, I know,
Canada,
I know, I remember.
for all the Canadians out there, sorry, our
Mm,
healthcare system sucks. Um,
I could go into stories, but from personal experience with
I've
my
had
dad,
two doctors go on mat leave, and
really.
so it's so embarrassing. I in my 20s, I decided I'm going to try this rollerblading thing out. I just moved to Queens Quay, and so there's like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
path
yeah.
there, and so like there's all these hot girls rollerblading. So I was like, oh, yeah, I want to go do that, just to maybe
Yeah. Meet some hot
and so
girls.
yeah, and so then I fell, like badly, and then I had to like walk home, and then my knee swelled up, and so I went and got an MRI
Oh,
done,
uh-huh.
and when I got said MRI done, uh, they're like, okay, well, we'll get back to you with the results and blah blah blah. And then I just never heard back. And then I kept following up. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then they're like, oh, sorry, your doctor went on mat leave. I'm like, cool. Can I get my MRI results? They're like, okay, we can't find them. And I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of important, right? So I ended up rehabbing it by myself. And then maybe 7 months later, I I got like a call saying, hey, your DVD's ready. I'm like, what's this? The secret MRI results. So I get it, and it's just the MRI, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't
Yeah,
know
you
what to
know how to
do.
read it. Yes, right.
And so I had to find another doctor, and it took me like 2 years to find a doctor and then I found that one. Then she went on mat leave, and I was like, what the like. So now I know if it's gonna rain based on how my knee feels. Like if I have trouble walking, it's like, oh, it's gonna rain today.
So you are an old guy after all now,
Yeah,
basically, because you.
yeah. I'm Indian, so I have old guy body from 25. It's just like
Oh my god,
we
that's
degenerate faster than
that is just
everyone else.
crazy.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man,
wild.
yeah, yeah. No, I had they were yeah. I remember when I lived back there and just some of the stuff that happened with my dad during his whole cancer treatment and stuff, and yeah, it was crazy. It was a little nuts. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
this and we're
you
talking
get the
20
best of
years.
the best treatment out there. You pay for it, but you
You can, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can go down this whole rabbit hole, but it's like, I'm not particularly happy about like our health insurance where it is right now, and just how much it costs because,
yeah,
you know, you tend to have better luck if you have employer provided insurance versus if you're like a
definitely.
freelancer like us and you have to buy it yourself. It's
Yeah,
kind of like you get your
because
options are not great.
you don't get the bulk sort of.
No, no, your options are not great. So,
Mm.
but that's and that just happened over the last maybe maybe 10, 15 years or whatever. That's when it's really started to go downhill. Because I mean, when I first was freelancing here and I was able to get health insurance, it was actually pretty good, and
Yeah,
it wasn't super expensive. And then the whole healthcare marketplace thing, and not to go into politics and stuff, but the whole
yeah, we're
healthcare
gonna get
marketplace
eaten
thing happened.
alive by like way smarter people
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
comments
yeah.
on this.
Yeah, so no,
So,
so we're not, I'm not gonna. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, so that's it.
okay, so switching topics is something we kind of can talk about. Is
Hmm.
TV. What have you been watching? Because I've seen some awesome stuff as of late.
I know you're watching some great stuff, and unfortunately, I feel like I'm just not dialed into what's going on. I've been a big fan of Reacher. I've been watching the third series. I think
Mhm.
the last episode of the third series drops tomorrow, and I just like it. I just really enjoyed it because
Yeah.
I like the books. I was never crazy about Tom Cruise, you know, when he did the Reacher movies because he just didn't fit the thing. And
Okay.
Alan is it Richardson? Alan Richardson, who does who is Reacher in in the Prime series is
Mhm.
like he's built like Reacher and he's got the thing down and
He's
it's
actually like it built like a tank.
yeah, he's huge. I mean, he's
Okay.
just this big guy and he plays it just it just kind of like the books and it's great. It's really really good. So
Cool.
I've been enjoying that. Um and I don't my wife has gotten me into we've been watching Elsbeth, which is like this it's just really sort of quirky um uh lawyer lady who's like a consultant for the New York Police Department. I mean, and just how she's really quirky and how she helps solve crimes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of fun to watch. I mean, it's a good, we love murder mystery sort of stuff. That's kind of our
Mhm.
thing. So it's fun, like, in that regard. Um, but yeah, I haven't gotten into a lot of new stuff. I know you're talking like The Pit is
The
something you were
pit's
talking about.
amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's great. It's like ER if it was realistic.
Mm,
So
okay.
like it's like a and apparently a lot of doctors are on YouTube are just watching it and being like, "Oh, this is insanely realistic."
Mm,
It's,
okay.
it's not like House, it's not like ER. There's
Mm.
no dramatic music when something dramatic happens. It's really really well done.
See, the last I hate to say this because this is going to date me. The last doctor or medical show thing that I was ever really interested in was Quincy. So
Oh yeah,
it's
no,
like,
this is better. This is really well done. It's an
so
HBO show, so
right, right.
they did a really really good job on it.
Mm,
So with that and then Severance, I just
hmm
finished. Oh, as
mm,
anyone that's in art, you should watch that. It's art
yeah.
directed wonderfully. The sound
Hmm.
design is amazing. It's a wonderful show.
Is this the one where people are like are what is it? They're working in some sort of altered reality or something like that, or
Yeah, so essentially what it is uh, there's a large conglomerate company
hmm
that has a program where you can basically get severed, where you when you go to work, they put a chip in your head, and when you go to work and you get in the
hmm
elevator, uh, your uh, your work life balance is separate. So like your home life is separate than your work life.
hmm
So like whatever you do at work, you have no idea when you leave work. It's just like you go into work every
mm,
day, you have no idea what happens, and you come back and
gotcha.
you get to live your life. And then essentially it just follows the people that are, because it's now another person that
Right,
goes
right,
to
right,
work
right.
every day and never leaves work. He's like their whole
Mm,
life is getting out of the elevator, and they go back. They're stuck at
mm.
work all the time. So like, yeah, it's really interesting. It's like, and what are they working on? Why are they working on it? You
Right.
know, and yeah, it's really really cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could probably get into that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's art directed wonderfully. It's just everything about it. It's really good. Um,
Nice.
I just finished like season two, the last episode, and it was just like,
Mm.
holy shit, this was awesome. Um, yeah, the pit was really good. Oh, and then Adolescence. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I haven't heard about that one.
So it's a British show. It's about 4 episodes, and um, it's. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It's like it happens in the first 5 minutes. Like, their son is accused of killing someone,
Mhm.
and it's about how the family deals with
Ooh.
said event. It's not like a who done it. It's like
Mhm.
right away. It's like, yeah, your son killed someone,
Mhm.
and then why and how does the family deal with, and it's pretty interesting. And it was all
Mm.
shot in one take, apparently, every episode.
Yeah?
So they did multiple takes, and
Huh.
they just used one of them for the entirety
Oh,
of the show.
wow. That's kind of
Yeah,
that's wild actually.
and the
Huh.
kid that plays the one that kills someone, apparently that's his first acting gig, and he's insane. It's really really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
hope that kid doesn't get messed up because of
Well, he's an actor,
that.
so he's
No,
clearly aware that he's playing something. But it's incredibly done. It's really
wow.
well done.
Oh
And
man.
so yeah,
Oh,
like three
that's
things plus all those Korean movies they have to watch, plus
yeah.
The Substance, plus what else did I tell you to watch?
I'm terrible
So
at
many
doing
things.
homework. Apparently,
It's part of your job. You have a home
it's
theater.
part of I know, but it's just so much other stuff going on. So, but no, I need to do that. I need to spend more time in the home theater and actually pull this stuff up and watch it.
Yeah,
So,
because I watch when I'm working,
hmm
because I can either watch it on my computer or then I can watch it out there, and then
yeah,
I also get to hear like what like the products I'm testing, so it's kind of like a
hmm
twofer.
hmm
And yeah, so I end up just watching all kinds of Daredevil sucks.
I haven't
I
see. I was thinking of getting it back into that because I haven't watched since it originally came out way back when. But it's not good, is it?
well, they essentially made Kingpin Trump, and
Oh, did they?
it's very like oh yeah,
Oh, okay, okay,
it's too on the nose. It's a little
yeah,
you know
yeah. I get
just
it.
leave the politics at home.
Yeah, I
You
know.
don't need to go there on the shows too.
I know, and to me, that's a bigger thing with like a lot of the Marvel movies in general these days. It's like
Mhm.
after I haven't watched anything after I think the last Avengers movie. I mean, I've not watched. I mean,
That
the
was
very
yeah, the Infinity War stuff was
yeah
hard
yeah
to beat, and then
yeah
I
and
seen a couple Spider-Man things. I've watched everything, sorry, but
yeah.
I just can't. I don't like them. Like Craven was okay. Uh,
I didn't see Craven. That's kind of like I looked at it, it's like the new Captain America movie. It's like there's nothing in here
it's
that's
really
grabbing me.
bad.
Yeah.
It's really
Uh.
bad.
Uh.
Yeah, everything's just yeah. I don't know. It's just not good. I don't know
Yeah.
what's happened.
I
It
feel
feels like it's movie by committee versus just hey, we're gonna make a good movie.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I mean, not that I haven't. I mean, I haven't been into comics in a long time, but I remember enough that it's kind of like I feel like these are not from the comics anymore. There's not a lot, that they're pulling from it
Yeah.
anymore. I mean,
It feels
you
like
know,
it's done by the studio. It's just like here's the agenda we have to fill, and then
yeah,
let's make a movie sort of based on it. It's not really like fan service. Like Infinity War was incredible. It's like
yeah,
it tied up so many things, and
hmm
there
yeah,
was a lot going on. And for fans of it, like I have the Infinity Gauntlet comic books, and they're amazing. And
hmm
oh, how close are they going to get to this with what they have? And they
hmm
got pretty close. It was pretty cool.
mm. Yeah, see that's what I like, and it's like when they veer too far off it or whatever. It's like it
You know what
loses its
I
appeal
wish
for
they
me.
would do is I wish they would do the Craven the Hunter storyline from Spider-Man, where
Yeah,
he
yeah,
hunts him, he drugs him, he buries him,
yeah.
and then
Oh
commits
yeah,
suicide at the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
Like that. Like if they did something that dark,
hmm
it would be pretty interesting.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, yeah, so there hasn't been a lot, and I won't even go into the new Snow White thing that's come out in the theaters and the whole general thing about Disney doing remakes of their oh my God, Janice and I are just like every time we see some of these things, we're
I
like,
feel like I can say
why?
this. Snow Brown, what are you guys doing?
Mm. Well, yeah, it's just like, come on. The idea of like you originally shot it with the seven dwarves that weren't actually dwarves; they were actually adult people, and you had to, after all the blowback, you had to go back and digitally create them or some such nonsense. It's like, what the hell? Honestly, why? I mean, why even do it? I mean,
But
you
also
know,
the blowback is just online, and if I think everyone knows that online blowback isn't the general population.
right,
Like
right,
I don't know what the stat is. It's like is it like 1% of the world is on Twitter? It's like it's really small. It's
yeah, yeah. And so, I mean. I just have a problem, and being a former Disney employee and just basically Disney fan and
mm,
an appreciator of what Walt actually did.
yeah.
Um, Anytime they redo or they do a live action version or a computer animated version of a classic movie, is like there's no need to do this.
Yeah.
You're not breaking anything new. You're not, you know. The whole reason it used to be, before computer animation got to where it was, that you animated something is because you could do stuff with animation that you couldn't do with real live action actors.
Mhm.
We've gotten beyond that now, but it's kind of like these are such beloved stories, and they are,
Just leave it alone.
yeah, leave it. I mean, they're making I think they're making a live action Lilo and Stitch, and it's like, why? Why? The cartoon is so good. The animated movie was so good.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
I like the
So
Pixar movies; those are great.
they are good. They are
Like
good.
Up
Even
is
yeah,
amazing.
Up is oh yeah, yeah,
I get everyone cries in the first 10 minutes, and then
oh yeah. But even lately, some of the late recent Pixar movies have kind of been they just have lost their sort of appeal to me too.
they
I
have a
mean,
really good short section on their Disney Plus channel.
they do,
There's
they
one
do,
my
yeah.
kids love. It's called Lifted. It's of
Mm.
an alien trying to abduct somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and basically it's his driving test. And he's so so like he can't get the guy out the window, so he elevates him and he hits the wall, and it's really well done. My kids love it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, that stuff is still great, but this is too much like leave the classic stuff alone. That's basically
I
what
think it's
it is.
just like leave your politics at home. Just
And
just
that
just
too, yeah,
make good movies
yeah,
that like, and people are allowed to be flawed. You can
yeah.
it's like if we're trying to make everything too PC or just like don't offend these people, don't
Hmm.
it's like people are offensive generally.
In general, yeah,
So like
that's how we're wired. Yeah.
just make the movies with actual people and actual characters that say real things,
Hmm.
and it'll be for some people and it won't be for other people.
And
Like
enough with the remakes, and enough with like 3, 4, 5, 7, whatever. It's like, okay, come up with some new stories, come up with some unique stories, come up
yeah,
with some whatever.
and I'm
It's
sure they're out there. People
oh
haven't
yeah,
stopped
totally.
writing.
Everything does not need to be a franchise. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It really doesn't. Make a good movie, make some good entertainment,
I feel
and
like though also with technology, because I recently become a camera nerd, so I'm using an FX30, but like with
hmm
all these more small compact bodies, it's going to enable a lot more filmmakers that have a shoestring budget,
hmm
and with with the fact that like it's a bit more cost effective to make something, it might be easier to like for smaller studios or just smaller,
oh, there was
just to
that
make more movies.
on a slightly different tangent, but similar idea. The animated movie Flow that just like won recently, I think best animated movie. Basically, it's computer animated about this black cat. Basically, it was
Mhm.
all done on the Blender, which is
Oh, it's
like
amazing.
which is freeware,
Yeah.
and just by a little small team, and just all done on Blender, and it's like it looks fantastic, It's definitely got a style to it, it's computer animated, but still,
Hmm.
it's like it's a great little movie, and there's a great story to it. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I love
mhm,
that.
yeah, me too, me too. Eat more of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, ugh, but, I'm just trying to think what else, of note is going on.
What else did you
Um,
get? You must have gotten another garage full
I
of speakers.
did get a pair of, ATC, SCM50,
Oh,
active speakers. So not
nice.
very big, sort of. I wonder if I can move this over. Do. Maybe I can. Maybe I can't. Let's see. Do. Come on. There they are, right there. That's. Whoop. Hold it. Let's see which way am I going here. There we go.
Is it those wood things?
Yep, right there. That's one of them right there.
Cool. They have
Yeah.
a old school mission kind of vibe to them, don't they?
They do actually, yeah, and I mean they're ATC's very classic studio monitor, and they're active, which is really really cool. So,
Nice.
um, yeah, so they've been great, and there's a matching sub that I need to finish hooking up and listening to. So,
Nice.
but they sound really good in here. Yeah, yeah,
I've always wanted to hear that brand.
mm.
I have a
They're
love
very nice.
for them.
Um, they definitely have a little bit of a sound to them.
Hmm.
Um, they have that sort of you have that sort of built-in just a little dip between like I think 2 and 4K or whatever. Just to,
Yeah.
and that's what they call the BBC dip or something that a lot of British speakers have.
Hmm.
Um, but they don't sound as like.
Is there any reason why that's done?
I
Is it
think
just a preferred voicing,
I
or
think it
just?
was I think it was a voicing that was typical for the brand. I think they did it. The BBC did that in those early monitors that they had custom made for them, and it's just that sound that they wanted to get out of them.
Mhm.
And a lot of people like it, and but it's very gentle. It's not like super deep or whatever, and the highs are nowhere near as you know say as like some of the expensive BMW speakers are, which have
Yeah.
those really punchy highs. These don't have that, so which is nice. And they
So
just image really nicely.
it'll anger the measurement community, but it'll make other people that like music happy, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll probably it doesn't follow the Harman curve, and it doesn't it doesn't measure flat or whatever
Yeah.
entirely flat, but it's not as like maybe as rough as some other things are, but yeah, it's not perfect. So
Mhm.
yeah, some people are going to say, well, they're not
Okay.
revels, and no, they're not,
Yeah.
or they're not this, that, or something else.
I nodded
So
my head yes, but I've never heard a Revel speaker before.
ah,
I have
yeah.
only, I'm still brand new, sir.
No, yeah, you're getting you we're
I'm getting
getting
there.
we're getting you broken in. We're getting you
Oh yeah,
broken
yeah.
in.
Well,
You know.
those are getting broken in there behind me.
hmm
Those the fifty
The
forties.
the 54, those are the Q acoustics, right?
Yeah,
Mm. I
yeah.
would wager I haven't seen a chart but or a graph, but I would wager those 5040s kind of may have the same little dip in them that these have. I mean, being as they're a UK speaker, I don't know for sure. I'm guesstimating. So
I will never look at said chart either.
I
So.
will burn said chart. Thank you very much. I do not care.
The only time I look at an EQ curve is if I'm making music. That's the
Mm,
only time I'll look at EQ, and that's
mm.
just to EQ something. But like,
Right, right, right,
I'll
right.
never look at it for listening to music. It just doesn't.
I will say this. In defense of the audio science review crowd or whatever, they do have some interesting things when it comes to headphones about like maybe tweaking the sound of headphones using like
Mhm.
say for example if you're using the little Rune EQ, the P parametric EQ thing in there.
Yeah.
I've had good luck, like if there's some headphones I'm listening to that they've reviewed and it's kind of like, yeah, you might want to try this and that just to kind of take the edge off
I'm
here or
not
whatever.
against them. I should say that. Like
No, 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 not
I
I
still
need.
refer like I still actually sometimes refer to their side of just
Yeah, yeah.
like if I get something and like, oh, I wonder if they measured this. I just want to see what they got out of it, just so like,
Yeah, yeah,
but
but
like,
they're a very like firm bunch in like what they're after and what they look forward to, and it may not necessarily and it's not necessarily
I think but
what
it's
everybody's
also
into.
like given what we talked about this last time of it's like once you get to a certain like point here, it
hmm
becomes about the gear, not so much the music.
Exactly,
And so I
exactly.
understand that sort of take of just like, hey,
hmm
now this segment of the hobby takes the measurements more seriously. I get it.
Right.
And
Well, and you also have to remember too. A lot of these guys are
engineers or
engineers, and a lot of them are also actually they're after the whole. They want to after exposing snake oil salesmen or
mm,
finding the black hats in audio or like exposing if you pay like $10,000 for a DAC, why it's no oh my gosh, why it's no better than like $1,000 topping or something like that or
yeah,
whatever. I mean, that's they a lot of them seem to live for that.
hmm,
And
it's kind
you
of the
know
gotcha business. Yeah.
it is
Mm.
and I mean it's like I didn't get into this to be a hatchet man to like take anybody down or like or whatever. I just
Yeah.
that's not
I
the point.
almost also think that this is the most unflattering shirt ever. Jesus. Let me just go like this. I keep looking at like shirt boobs and just like Jesus.
Oh
Let's get that
man.
down. No, but also it's like when you trash a product or something, there are people's livelihoods on the line when you do that.
That's true. Yeah, there are. There
You
are.
know, like
Yeah.
especially if it's a smaller manufacturer. I get if it's like, you know,
Right,
Like,
and who's to say that someone who has said product, you know, isn't enjoying the heck out of it. So like you let
yeah,
them enjoy the heck out of it. I mean,
yeah,
just because it's not necessarily for you doesn't mean it's not necessarily for somebody else.
yeah.
So
It's kind of why I put my biases on the table right away. Like,
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think it's fair to do that. I mean, we all have biases. So
I like boomy bass. Just and
yeah,
I can't imagine not having boomy bass in anything. It's like you ever been in a car and it sounds
oh
great.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
want to hear. I don't want to hear flat dead sound. Like I'll make flat dead sound when I'm making music and I
right,
want it to sound clean on
right.
everything. But when I'm at home, it's just
And this is something too in some respects that I have issue with room correction when it's used like in a stereo setup. Um, when it's used in a home theater, it's a different thing because a lot of times your speakers are not in the ideal position,
mhm,
and you're stuck with what you have in a lot of cases. So the room correction helps,
yeah,
to get the best out of them. But if you're listening to a two-channel system, and this is not the most perfect room, but sometimes when I use room correction in here to kind of you take
it neuters the sound.
it does because I think the speakers need. We're not listening in a chamber. We're not listening in an anechoic chamber. We're listening in a room, and speakers use the room, you know, to make the sound. And there are elements of the room that it you know that you hear in that sound.
Yeah,
It's like a. Some people may say you're what you're hearing is the
reflections.
reflected waves kind of interfering with this and giving you a little other, it's affecting the sound. Some of that actually is desirable. When you listen to music in a club, no one's using room correction on it. I mean,
Mhm.
you're getting whatever's happening in the club in your or concert hall or wherever you are, whether you're listening to
You,
classical or you're in a like a blues club or whatever, you're getting the room. And when you use room correction on a stereo system, sometimes yes, it may fix the bass because you have like this big, you have like a peak or a dip or whatever, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of the life out of that, out of what you want to hear. And you switch back and forth. It's not like a DAC. It's
yeah.
you can hear it. And unless your setup is really terrible and you really need the help, sometimes it's better without it. I find. I mean, that's just me. You know.
Yeah, I remember there was a DJ that I sorry, let me just I have to turn on my do not disturb so
Mhm.
um yeah, there was a DJ, I think believe the name was Andy C
Mhm.
talking about when he switched over from vinyl to digital for DJing, and he said there was something that was missing in the vibe of the sound, and it was
Mhm.
because he went from vinyl where you put the needle on the vinyl and you get the noise from the vinyl and you get the music, and
Right.
then it goes out through the speakers really loud, but
Mhm.
the needle is essentially a microphone as well, so then it goes
Oh
back through
yeah.
the needle
Mhm.
like and then back through the speakers again, and so you're getting this like different vibe of every venue that you're in,
Right.
and then there's an MC, and so then that like the crowd sounds go through that, and like there's a
Mhm.
whole different sound and experience of
Yeah.
the venue when you're doing it that way, and then when you
Whole
go to
separate
digital,
set
you
of
take
interactions happening. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
take some of those interactions out, and
Mhm.
he was like, yeah, it's not quite the same anymore, and I
Mhm.
do miss that other, and so that's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing as when you apply room correction to things.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but I
Totally agree.
also understand is like if you are chasing that audiophile dragon, then it does make more sense to you.
Mhm.
But
No.
it's there's
I
two
I I
different ways to do that.
I like to when it comes to for the stereo system, I like to use the room correction to fix, you know, like under 500 hertz to sort of fix any bass issues I may be having. Because, like I said, this room's not perfect, and there are dips,
Yeah,
and there are places where you'll get peaks in the bass because depending where the position is, you'll get like some serious peaks here and there, and using room correction to kind of dial that down is great.
mhm.
But yeah, sometimes it's like when you know a speaker doesn't have too many big issues in the room, I don't like to use it because it's like it just uh, there's something lacking in not hearing the room with my music, you
Yeah,
know. So and again, it totally depends on the speaker and the interaction with the room. So, I mean, I had those Dolly Epicor 11s in here. I'll use as an example.
yeah.
Um, They sounded great. I love the sound of them. Uncorrected, the bass sub 500 hertz uncorrected, there was this huge peak happening at, it was about 60 or 70 hertz.
Hmm.
It was a tight peak, but it was happening like at, right at 70 hertz. It was like, I don't know, 10, 20 dB or something. It was pretty. And then just north of that, like between 100 to 400 hertz, there was like this sort of scoop out because
Hmm.
there was some issue happening with, like, because the height of the speakers, you were getting ceiling and floor reflections, they were canceling some stuff out. You look at the measurement and it's like, oh my God, what is this? I mean, I showed it to the guys at Dolly and they're just like, what the, they were like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell them, you know what? Yes, this looks rather scary, but 500 hertz and up was like very nice, very
Yeah.
smooth, very nice. But but I said, actually, when you listen to it, this sounds more better than not with a lot of kinds of music because it's like that peak at
Hmm.
60 is, and just how it widens out towards the bottom is like making up for that little dip, farther up the bandwidth, and it's like, it's, I'm not saying it's canceling each other out, but it's kind of helping, one's kind of helping offset the other. So
Yeah.
it's like it sounds pretty darn good. And I mean, my wife and I love the sound of the speakers. Yeah, I ran some room correction on it, and I did a graph with it with the peak out, and let the room gain do its thing with just a gentle increase of the bass. And yeah, it sounds great. It sounds clean, and it's very nice.
Yeah.
But there's just something about that snappy, like, peak, and it's like it was fun. I mean, it was really fun.
Yeah. When
So
I had the Paradigm Founders, and they had room correction for that.
right for the, yeah, hmm
And so when I applied it from the Anthem receiver,
hmm
it sounded dead. And I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, what is
yeah,
this?" So then I ended up just disabling it and then running
yeah.
it normally just to enjoy it.
But just running it from the speakers themselves, it
Yeah.
was fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that too because the Anthem is basically, even though if you, I don't know if you had it correcting the entire range of the speaker, or just were limiting it somehow, but
I honestly don't know. I
no,
just ran it. Just
you may, what it was probably doing, because its default is correcting Anthem room correction from the either the receiver or whatever. Its default is set to correct up to 5 kilohertz and then
Mhm.
stop after that. You can have it correct more or less, but its default is 5 kilohertz.
Yeah.
Um, the Just using the onboard one, arc on the Founder series, it'll correct up to, I think, 350 or 400 hertz. I think 350. That's
Yeah.
where the bass shifts to the mid range and stuff, and that's
Mhm.
it. It won't touch anything else. So that's why you're still getting a chunk of the goodness of the room,
Mhm.
and it's just touching the bass.
Mhm.
So that's probably why I would guess that's probably why you liked it better. I know that's why I liked it better
Mhm.
because yeah, yeah.
I
So
think whenever I do move, I want to get like some like proper installers in to just like measure the room and then sort of flatten it, like do it
hmm
properly, and then
yeah,
use that as a starting point,
it's probably
just to
pretty good.
mitigate any of my like anything that I don't understand. You guys just do for me, sort of thing.
I think the best thing you could do is, yeah, have someone come in who's, that's got like some acoustics chops,
Yeah.
and have measured the room and suggest ways that, if you want to have some basic room treatments, where the best places to put them, but
Yeah.
also if there's a way to find out to control the amount of ambient noise in the room from, like, either from AC, or ducting, or
Yeah.
other stuff, because yeah, the more quiet that you can get the room just in a natural state,
Yeah.
it's surprising how much more detail you will hear out of the music when you're listening.
Yeah.
um so it's a big deal. It's kind of why, Cedia, the Cedia group did this whole immersive, what is it, immersive standards paper that they released, a year or two ago, that had all these different, levels of, I think it was 4 different levels of, like, home theater. A lot of it has to do with how quiet you can get the room in
Mhm.
order for it to meet certain, dynamics, and take best advantage of, like, soundtracks and music and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal if you could do that. And to help you out with that. That's really important, and a lot of people
Yeah,
don't think
I
about
want to
that.
get someone like that is very knowledgeable to it because there's no way I'm going to learn it. I just
Hmm.
I don't want to do that myself.
There's a guy
I
who
can
lives
barely
20.
divide. I can't. I'm not going to learn those. I can. I can.
There's a guy who lives 20 minutes from me, Norm Varney. He does some contributing on our site actually for some
Mhm.
acoustic or tech articles he's written.
Yeah.
That's his bag. He used to work for Owens Corning. He has a really big acoustics background, and
Mhm.
that's one of the things his company does is he goes to places and he will measure your room and do that give you that sort of advice and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it's good if you can find someone who could give you that sort of information.
Yeah, that would be like the first thing that I'd want to do is just like treat the space
Hmm.
and then go from there and just be like
Hmm.
and then just you give me the graph and I'll just put that on every review. Just like by the way, here's the room.
Yeah.
Do with these numbers as you will.
Hmm.
Apparently, they're better. Just
Apparently they're better. Nah, throw that away now, but now I'm going to tell you what I think.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's just I want to know that that part is taken care of,
hmm.
and then I have
Hmm.
a good starting point. I don't need to know why,
Hmm.
really, other than like I there's no massive deficiency in here, if that makes sense.
Oh man. Yeah.
I
Oh,
know like I know I'll slowly have to like learn more, but like um I don't know how to say this in the right way, but like I'm smart enough to know that I'm pretty dumb in certain areas, and so I don't want to. I don't want to like pretend.
I'm there too. I'm there
Yeah, I
too.
don't want to pretend that I understand everything. That you know, there's some
No, I
stuff I
mean,
just don't. I don't get, and so
no. I'm the same way. I mean, I mean,
it's too much
I'm
input.
I I know enough of some things to get me in trouble,
Yeah,
that's the old saying, but it's true.
yeah,
Um, but I don't know everything, and I'm not an expert in everything or a lot of things. I mean, I don't know that I'm expert in anything,
yeah.
but it's part of the fun is learning this stuff too. It's like learning some of the stuff.
Hmm.
Um, because even if you're not into the measurements or you're not into some of the tech details and stuff, you know,
But we
knowing it,
are just sort of inherently at some
we
point,
we
like we
are
are,
we are yeah, but
you know.
no, but not understanding some of it and its place in things,
Mhm.
is always helpful. It
Yeah.
just is. Um, So, and it's just like, it's something else that builds your own experience up and when you're reviewing stuff and you're listening to things.
But
So,
I think it like a lot of times like the experts have like 20 years in the field on it, sort of thing.
oh yeah.
So then I'm 3 years. I'll get there slowly,
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's you will. And I
slowly
mean,
and steadily.
I'm there are guys that I listen to and that I talk to and stuff that have been in this for years and have so much experience. It's like
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near that, and I don't pretend to be. But I like seeking them out and hearing what they have to say. I may not always agree with it, but it's interesting. And
You know what I would love to do is
mhm,
I would love to sit next to like one of the I guess the engineers or the design people that put together a product
mhm,
and have them like walk through what they're doing and why they're doing it, not just
mhm,
in the marketing newspeak, but just like here's what I'm doing and here's what I'm why I'm doing it and here's what I'm
mhm,
listening for, sort of thing.
mhm.
Just to kind of get that, like, oh, okay, you know,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's always fun. I mean, it's interesting to listen to some of these. I was just in um a what was it? It was a presentation done by Sony. There was they were introducing their new TV sets. It was like a Zoom thing like we're
yeah,
doing, but I was invited on. So there was like their TV sets, their projectors, some of their home theater stuff, and it's great. It's fun to it's fun to know, and it's neat to see some of the new tech. And they were explaining some of the tech, but the PR guys were like super heavy on like this is the greatest thing since
yeah,
your grandma's sliced bread or whatever,
Yeah,
or this sort of stuff. I mean, I mean, they were pushing it hard, so it's kind of interesting to see, from their end what the message they're
yeah.
trying to get across, you know.
Was
But
it a TV or?
it was a whole line. It was their new line of mini LED TVs. I think
Ooh,
they were carrying on the OLED TVs with some minor improvements, but they had some new mini LED or QLED or QLED Samsung mini LED sets. Some
do you
new.
want to send a 4K my way?
I'm
I'll
trying to
do
get. I'm
I'll do
trying to get
zero
them to
testing.
send. I'm trying to get them to send. Well, they might actually prefer that over sending it to Chris, who will test the bejesus out of it. Out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just tell me what black level to have, and I'll just say it's great because my old ass 1080p TV sucks.
My mom was still rocking a giant 32-inch tube TV set. And my sister and I tried to figure out how to get out of her house and get her to get a nicer flat screen TV, which is brighter and better for her eyesight. And she's like,
Because like
I
the new
don't want.
TVs, they're better with when sunlight hits your TV. You don't get
Oh
those
yeah,
awful reflections. I
oh yeah.
shoot everything at night now because I can't control like the light coming through my window. It's just
Ah,
you have this
yeah.
it's big like a giant mirror. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
Sony can send a TV my way, I'll tell you that it's the best thing ever.
Sony, if
And
you're watching, Taps wants a TV.
yes,
So you know,
and for an extended period of time, please.
and he doesn't want to send it back.
I do not want to send me the model that gets the least amount of press, so like the smallest. You know,
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. But yeah, they had TVs and new projectors and stuff,
I'm
and
not
some
opposed
new.
to begging, so
No, that's fine.
we'll beg for product. We'll shill for you.
It'll shield for you. But yeah, so that was just interesting. But they were working the PR really hard on that presentation. So
Hmm.
you know, 'tis the season for this stuff.
Is that with like those new speakers they have as well? Like that
Uh,
4 speaker surround
they
thingy
they were
majiggy?
talking about some of the well, they were talking about some of their new soundbar packages and some of the other kind of all-in-one surround things. And yeah, there
Hmm.
was the one you're talking about with the four speakers that are like wireless, which
Yeah,
is a neat idea.
I
Actually,
like
that would
that. That's
probably
pretty
work
cool.
really well in our like upstairs living room that kind of opens up into the kitchen area. That would probably be really nice. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been trying to get a hold of that Cambridge Evo 1 for the last like 6 months since it's been released.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's just been sold out in North America for like the last ever since it has been released. So
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Sorry, we can't get you." And I'm like, "Hey, this is a good problem to have. You kind of don't need reviewers anymore for that. It's like
I've
if
been
it's
trying
doing
to
that well."
I've been trying to get Eversolo to send like one of their I think it's a A10. I think it's their streamer slash preamp and stuff. It's their new top line one. But yeah, they're saying it's impossible to get a review sample out there or whatever because they're
That's
just being
awesome.
sold. And
It's
Perlis, and
it's
I've been trying to get one of their subwoofers to Craig to review, and it's kind of like we can't keep them in stock. They sell out as soon as the
do
container
they
ship
make
comes in.
small speakers or is that everything just giant THX?
Perlison?
Yeah,
They make small speakers. They make a stand like a two-way, like a stand mounted two-way and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not busy.
You're not, are you? Tabs ain't busy. No, 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 no.
I just
Well,
have a massive backlog of
we
shit
just
to
have a
do.
massive backlog. Yeah, yeah. Same here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man. I'm curious about that. I can't wait to see your Lamborghini turntable review. That's gonna be fun. That's
Yes.
gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that. I mean I know what it is, and I mean
Mhm.
it's an SL 1200.
That is on its way to you. I'm
Mm.
currently editing it now. So
But it's a gorgeous looking SL 1200.
yeah,
and
I really want one.
and I'm not above the obvious automotive of marketing
Oh
tie-in
no, who
appeal. I mean, it's
cares?
just like okay,
It looks
I,
gorgeous.
I'm all over it. It's like yeah, it's Lamborghini, it's a turntable. I'm all over it. Yeah,
I because I have those,
yeah.
and it's just essentially an upgraded one
Hmm.
or 20 years later.
Hmm.
It is night and day.
Hmm.
Spoiler alert! It's so it's lighter. It's not like a tank anymore, which is nice,
Hmm. Hmm.
and yeah, it's just so good.
Mm. Yeah, they've
But
refined that down to a science now. Yeah, yeah.
there is one thing:
What is it? What is it? I'm curious.
the torque is not the same.
It isn't, is it?
No, it's not. It's weaker
Oh.
torque. There's torque settings, so I put on the highest one, And
Mhm.
with my rudimentary, just like I hammer on the stop and start when I'm mixing,
Mhm.
it slows down. Like if you soft touch the stop and start on one of these, you can get to slow down gradually.
Mhm.
And then if you hit it hard, it'll stop faster.
Right.
On that one, it always just slows down gradually. It's not the
Ah.
same. I don't know. I know it's a different motor and different design, but
Right,
it's
right.
not
They've done a lot of refinements to the motor and stuff like that, and
yeah,
they've geared it more for like a home use market. Uh,
not DJs.
not so much DJ. Um, I think they released a version that was more focused to the DJ market. Um,
I think that's
if I
the one,
remember
isn't
right.
it?
T-
It is that one.
Is it that one?
Yeah, it's that one.
We're
It's
we're not
just
talking we're not talking the Lamborghini table now, are
the
we?
the,
No.
the Lamborghini table is just a reskinned DJ table, I believe.
I think it's just a reskinned home version of the SL 1200. They did a. I'm trying.
Do they have a more performance? Like,
There
because they have the
there
pitch control, they have the 45, they have.
there may be. I think there is one that's more has more of the DJ centric
Huh. I mean,
features to it.
it
I
felt
think.
like it felt like a DJ turntable,
Hmm.
but it was
Well, when Techniques
just minus the torque.
when Techniques re-released brought back the 1200 series like over the last few years, I mean they upgraded a lot of stuff and this and that, but I think they
There was
they
backlash from the DJ community
yeah, there
because it
was.
was like double the price.
It was double the price, yeah, and I think they basically um the best way to put it is like they kind of like smooth the edges off, where in the performance and the usability where certain characteristics that'd be, I guess, better suited for DJ use, and you wouldn't use it in the home,
Mhm.
were probably smoothed over a little bit, I would imagine. So,
Yeah, so it's not bad. That's the only thing I noticed.
right,
Like of just like, oh, this is not the, but it didn't hamper me at all because I'm not like a professional DJ. I just
right.
do
You're
this for
not
fun
you're
at
not
home.
you're not running an EDM show, and you're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was easily something. It was just I had noticed it, but it didn't hamper me mixing at all. You know,
hmm
uh, if anything, I just looked forward to mixing, but it just happened. So it just so happened at that time that I got that model in that my daughter had appendicitis, and so and it was
oh,
so
ouch,
I was just not using it like at all because you know. So
yeah.
there was like a 3 week span that like cut into the review time of just like I not using it,
She
but
okay? Is your daughter all
oh
right?
yeah, she's a trooper. Yeah,
Good, good.
yeah. Like yeah, she was amazing.
That's
She's back to normal. So,
good, good. That's never
but
fun. Ugh.
oh, it was scary, but
Oh,
it's a great turntable. I
oh
was
yeah, and
really
it
sad.
looks awesome. I
And
mean,
they asked for
it's
it back in record time. It was like one of the few manufacturers is like, we need this back. I'm like, oh,
please.
no. Yeah, I loved
Uh,
it. I
yeah,
absolutely loved it.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so
No,
in the future, I would wholesale want to just upgrade mine to those
mm,
because mine have seen some better days.
yeah. I can imagine. The funny thing was that those SL 1200s, when they were originally released, they were not like back in the 70s. They were not meant to be DJ turntables. They're meant to be
Yeah,
hi-fi turntables, and DJs just found them useful and as they were, and so that's where the whole thing came from.
and like
Uh,
there's an opportunity now in this DJ market to sort of start taking over because Pioneer did maybe the dumbest thing where they put their DJ software subscription based.
ooh.
So I don't like I have a Pioneer mixer and I don't use the software because there's no way I'm paying
Mm,
to mix digital music together. I'm not doing that. Sorry.
yeah.
So I'm currently looking at freeware to see if I can get that done properly, or
Mhm.
I just won't. I just
Mm,
sorry, I'm not paying for that. That's
yeah,
insanity to me.
yeah. I know. I think there's only one software subscription I have, and that's to Adobe, and that's because did
I
I don't
have
have a
to.
choice. I have to. It's kind of like there's no other alternative.
The
Uh,
minute I can stop being a graphic designer, I will
mhm.
cancel Adobe in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
or if I can get like a company to pay for it,
Yeah.
it's hard as a freelancer, but
We were talking, and sort of going slightly off tangent, we were talking about software and stuff, and we were talking video editing before. And I actually got Final Cut Pro on my iPad,
mhm.
and doing it like I've got like the month trial going, and then
Yeah.
after that it's like a $4.99 a month subscription if you want to do it.
Mhm.
I really like it. I mean, just playing around with it, it's like, okay, this is
It's
really intuitive, and it's like
That's what I use it on my computer,
hmm
but I don't. It's not a subscription on my computer.
hmm
Not
yeah. I have
yet.
a Windows setup, so there is no Final Cut Pro for Windows. I
Yeah.
would have to use like DaVinci or something like that,
Yeah.
which I might look into because Adobe
Apparently,
Premiere.
DaVinci's the learning curve is high.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, but I mean, I've never used it, but apparently it's free. So
Right. There's a free version which is fairly complete, and then there's also like an industry version, I think,
yeah,
from what I saw just looking over their site. But I use Premiere now, and it's like because I that comes with a subscription with Adobe,
yeah.
and it's like it's fine and it works, and I'm used to it. But it's like I
Final
wish
Cut
it
is a
did some other things.
revelation, though. Just that magnetic timeline is.
It's yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be great taking my iPad to shows and like editing video on the fly
Yeah.
there. It's gonna be a game changer. It's gonna be awesome.
I I the only thing I have trouble with is color.
Mm.
So like I got a nice camera, but there's like about log settings or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah.
like the flat color profile.
hmm
So I did a few videos in that, but I can't expose it properly. And so
Mm.
I've watched every tutorial possible, and every time I do it, the color just looks messed up, and I can't figure it out. So I have just resorted to just doing standard color on my
Is
camera.
are your computer monitor calibrated or whatever? Or
No,
no? Okay.
no, no, no,
I didn't know if that might be an issue too, because I mean
no.
when
It just everything just like I can't get my skin color to look like a brown guy. I either
mm,
look like a red guy or a yellow guy. It's
a
just like
yellow
everything.
guy
It just looks wrong.
or a mauve
And
guy.
I'm trying, but like I can't get it to figure out. So I
mm,
have one setting that I have for just Sony's standard color,
hmm
and that's what I use. And every video I do 5 minutes of just in log, and
hmm
then I change something around, and then I try, and every time it's just like this is horrible.
See, I've not messed with color grading or any of that sort of stuff yet. I mean, I've messed around with the color and some things just to get like an Instagrammy kind of look
Yeah,
for a certain shot, which is fine. And that's kind of easy. But getting what you're talking about, getting just that right looking color
yeah.
is I haven't tried messing with that because I can't wrap my head around it. When I've tried, things either get blown out or look too dark. I can never seem to get that balance just right. And
Yeah, it's kind of like this is sort of akin to the hi-fi conversation we're having, where like
Mhm.
when you get into the weeds
Yeah.
of like the technical aspects. Like I've seen like
Oh.
there's a guy I follow. He's Canadian, and like he talks about like log and
Mhm.
then as soon as he starts talking about like the IRE and your skin tone value, and all of a sudden I'm just like I don't know what
Yeah,
you're saying anymore. Can
it's
you
like
make this
I
dumber?
feel this pressure in my head right about here. It's like,
And it's
oh,
color grading for like darker skin tones. So I was like, okay, this, and he sounds like everything he's saying sounds like it should make complete sense. Like he's
right.
really well spoken, uh, he's really knowledgeable, and his videos look amazing. And every time I try it, I just mess it up, and I want to write him on like Twitter, just like, but every time I do write the ask, it
Mm.
sounds like a shitty insult. So I don't want it. I don't want to write him.
Do you want me to write it for you so that way it sounds?
No,
It's like-
because because it's essentially it's like, hey, I love this video. I don't understand the thing you said past this point,
right.
but it sounds but
It sounds
it's just because I don't know
yeah.
I don't know
Right,
the
right.
technical aspect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I'm. It's just like you just ask him. I would think I don't know whether it's me. I think I need a little more help with this. Can you please
Yes.
kind of explain it to me a little more,
Yeah.
or something like that? Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I
I
get it.
can't pronounce his last name. His first name is Kofi. His videos are amazing.
We love you,
Uh,
Kofi.
Yes, I love you. I love your videos, but I can't get it. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I know. And I need to. I'm in the process of getting some of my Japan stuff together now. Finally, I'm sending a bunch of stuff to
Isn't
Japan to.
Wasn't that a year ago?
That was back. Yeah, I don't tell me. I know it was back in November. It was back in
This is
November.
why you send taps, man. You get it the month after.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Y-
Japan, so I'm not sending taps. I'm sending me. It's like- If I could get Taps to go with me to Japan, that would be yes, that'd be absolutely. But they wouldn't go for that, unfortunately.
No, I know.
But
And I'll be intoxicated the entire time.
half the time they were. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. So I'm sending some footage out to the folks at Stacks to do some translation for me, and I'm finally starting to get that together. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, playing around with the settings. I'll get to that when I get to that. But it's like,
So
oh,
that's one of the reasons I want to get good at the log part of it,
mm-hmm,
just because when we're out on the field shooting something,
mm-hmm,
I want to have enough headroom to like
mm-hmm.
make the footage look better.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
if it blows out, it just blows out. Okay.
I really love. Shout out to was it? I hope I say her last name right. Jana Dagadon, who
Oh,
does
her stuff's
Jana
awesome.
Jana Loves Hi-Fi. She
Yeah.
does some beautiful stuff. Really beautiful
Did she
stuff.
do a bunch of stuff for Darko as well?
She did. She used to do. She may still do some stuff for Darko. I know she did on the regular a while
Her
ago.
photos look amazing, but like the videos she does, it's just like, wow,
Yeah,
this is
she just did
incredible.
someone at Denon's Shirakawa plant for like phono cartridge, the Denon
Mhm.
103 phono cartridge, and it's just like I was starting to
Everyone should
watch
hire
that.
her
Oh
for
yeah,
just
it's beautiful stuff.
and if you
She's
have
got
a
a.
really small budget, hire me.
If you have a really good eye, hire her. If you have a small budget, hire Taps. If you're looking for a clown to just go in front of a video, hire me. So hey, so that's how
Yeah,
that
her
works.
stuff's incredible.
Yeah,
I followed her based on your recommendation last time, and it was just like, holy shit, this
yeah,
is
yeah.
everything looks
She's
great.
really good,
Yeah.
really good. And she actually genuinely loves hi-fi. I remember talking to her a little bit at a show, and she's got like a nice little hi-fi setup. She's got an SL. She had an SL 1200 at the time.
Nice.
um and yeah, no, she's very cool, very cool lady, very cool
Mhm.
lady.
More
Yeah,
of that. We need more.
indeed, much more. Yeah, yeah. But I think next time we need to have at least one or two of our other reviewers on, just
Yeah, I think
for
it'll be
laughs.
fun.
That should be fun. Yeah, yeah. We'll
And
have to
just
see who we
ambush
can
them
get.
with questions. Just
Totally, why not? To see who we can, we'll have to see who we can get on. But yeah, definitely get.
is there anyone really uptight on our review staff that we can that we
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. We probably could. Yeah, I could probably arrange something like that. Yeah, yeah. Um, but
who
no,
can we offend? Who could
who can we hack off this time? But no, that would be cool. I'll have to talk to a few guys and see who's available. But yeah, that would be fun, I think. Absolutely.
do you have any
Uh,
anything crazy like planned? Like any like products coming in that you're totally looking forward to or
at the moment, no. The problem right now, getting product right now is kind of hard because everyone's gearing up for Expona, so they're basically hoarding all their product to have at
Mhm,
the show. After that, it should be pretty easy. I'm trying to get like an integrated from Audioflight, one of the Italian places I visited,
mhm.
and maybe a pair of speakers from Opera, which is another one of the
Okay.
Italian places I visited. Um, I'd like to get something. Jim Clements was asking if I get something from AccuPhase,
Mm.
which he's interested in from Japan, and I think that's gonna. Again, all this stuff's gonna have to be after Expona.
I think everyone
Um,
wants an AccuPhase. Isn't that that's
it's
the amplifier everyone wants to hear, right?
it's one
Or
of those brands that's kind of like
it's like Macintosh kind of.
kind of like the Japanese Macintosh. Only honestly, I think I like AccuPhase better, but that's just me. I love the look of those things. There's something about the classic sort of, I don't know what you call it, champagne or gold look of those things,
Yeah.
and they just look timeless. I mean, they you look at it, it's like this is hi-fi, and it's like yeah, you know,
It's like that. Doesn't like Marantz do like a cream slash champagne color to their stuff?
yeah, they do a little bit, yeah. I wanted to see if we can get those Marantz, the new 2-channel
The
integrated that
Horizons? Or,
well, I actually have requested to get Horizons for you, to get like
oh,
a Horizon, a big one of the Horizons, whatever they can get their
the
hands
small
on.
one. Get the small one.
The small one.
The small one. The small.
Small one, please. I have no room for the big one. Yeah,
I mean, I'll take the big one, but
at this point,
it'll look like an oscillating fan in my
I
place.
talked to Lucette and I put in a request, say, "Hey, is it possible to get one of the Horizons to Taps?" And she was gonna check into it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I have a request in for that. There's the new Marantz 2-channel gear,
Yeah.
really pretty looking integrated, and the streamer. Um, few other things too.
I think
But
the 50 is coming my way as well.
is it?
Yeah, the Model
Ah,
50. Yeah,
okay. I don't know
because all of the integrateds have home theater bypass on them and tone controls. So it's
there you go.
yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. Um, but yeah, that's sort of the big thing right now. I know Gene Hofstadter's got a nice pair of active Vienna acoustic speakers, which are kind of really pretty. They're sort of an all-in-one. Craig actually has got. I'm curious to see his review. He's got the Diva Utopias actually. So
Oh,
he's got
fun.
those in, and he's been putting those to the view. He's texted me a few times, and OMG, OMG, OMG. So yeah, he's pretty happy. I
Nice.
think it's going to be a good review. So yeah, there's a few
Do
things in
we
the
have a line
pipeline.
on Klipsch? I've always wanted to hear a Klipsch speaker.
We can. I mean, we do. We have a. I know who to contact for that stuff. It's whether they should be able to get it to Canada. I think. Are you interested in the
Yeah,
clips or
yeah.
something like
Like
that?
they're whatever the lowest one is, the RP reference, whatever the.
Oh, you're talking like one of the home theater type of speakers, or you're talking like the classic ones that have the wood finish on them and
I mean
stuff.
either, but I mean like whatever is the one that is it the RP 600 or something. The one that gets everyone asks me. It's like
Oh yeah,
how does it sound against Klipsch?
find
So
find
I
them.
want to hear that speaker first.
Go on the site and and pick and let me know, and I can see if I can see if I can
Yes,
get some
Santa.
stuff out to you. Santa Carlo.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah. So like, I want to hear clips, and then I'm still just I want to hear something Kef at some point. But I figure I might have to buy one and then just return it.
You may have to. Kef is like
Like a
Kef is a sore
unicorn.
point with me. Yeah, it's because it's like I've made so many requests into the U.S. thing to get Kef stuff, and they just will not send stuff. You know, I
Mhm.
think one of our guys had to buy one of the subwoofers in order to review it because they just wouldn't send it. I
Hmm.
think I upset them like a while ago when I was first starting out. I think I made them mad,
Oh,
possibly. I don't know, but
okay.
eh,
Yeah, regardless of. Oh my God, do you hear that?
no.
Sorry, there's a fire engine. Uh,
Oh,
oh, I live right near a fire station.
fire station. Oh, okay,
So like every once in a while when I'm recording, something will go
there's
by. I'm just
there's
like,
a
okay,
four
I guess
alarm in Oakville.
yeah. So
Oh dear.
yeah, I want to hear their stuff. I just want to hear like not like what the hype is all about, but
Hmm.
also what the hype is all about. Like I want to hear those
Right.
metas. I know what
Hmm.
my initial thought would be if I was just a like a consumer, but also it's like if I know going in that it cuts off at 80 hertz, uh,
Hmm.
what does the rest of it sound like? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it gives you a point of reference.
Yeah,
That's exactly what you want. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, like I mean, let me know about the clips and I can or what you're after, and I can see if I can hook you up that way. Again, Kef is like, you know.
What else there's so many things I want to hear. Like there's so many things. Poke. Oh yeah, Poke. I've never heard
Mm-hmm.
a Poke speaker either.
Mm. Polk. I don't see. Polk's been pretty quiet for the last few years, so I don't know because that's owned by formerly Sound United, now
Yeah,
Massimo. So I don't know if they have anything new coming up. I haven't seen anything new from
yeah.
them, so
Oh,
I don't know.
Mission is another one I want to get some
Hmm.
speakers from. Yeah, there's lots.
Hmm. Well, Expona's coming up in 2 weeks or so,
Oh
so
wow,
I'm going to be doing a lot of trying to do a lot of connecting with people and stuff and seeing what I can get secured. So I will keep this in mind.
I'll send
But
you a
yeah,
list.
send me a list. Check it twice. Yep, yep. So that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be a crazy ass show.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a crazy ass show. It's just huge. So it will be interesting.
is that the Chicago one?
That's a Chicago one.
Oh, so you have to go to the coffee thing then.
The
There's a
coffee
coffee
thing.
show at the same time as Expono. It was last year. I
I don't know if it's
imagine.
going. I don't. I think you're right. Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's the same time this year, and it might be. I don't know. I'll have to look.
Hey, let me
Check out when the coffee show in Chicago is happening. And we're
Chicago
not exactly in Chicago proper. We're in like one of the suburbs, like what is it, Schaumburg.
Specialty Coffee Expo. Uh, okay, I don't know, but yeah, there was one last year, so I imagine there is one this year.
Mm.
I don't know why there wouldn't be,
Hmm.
but
I don't know. I like coffee, so it'd be fun to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's going to be the next big thing happening. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So
All right.
we shall
So
see.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, I think it's. I think we ran through a bunch of stuff, and even though our guest wasn't able to make it, I think we still had some fun catching up with stuff and going through things, and
Mhm.
just generally John. So yeah,
Yeah.
not too bad. Not too
Word.
bad.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you,
I've been
everyone.
Taps. That's Carlo Lorazzo. Sorta Hi-Fi.